Hello Psycho Nerds and welcome on back to another Rock on Game episode. In today's video, we are going to be doing a video game haul. I went out over the weekend, picked up a few games, well, quite a few games actually. Some of these are to complete my series, some of them are starting out a series, and then some of them, yeah, they either are starting out a series that I've always wanted to play, or they are to finish off a series that I already own that I also have not played. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. Before we do, smash that like button if you do enjoy the video. Comment down below, have you played these games? Do you enjoy them? What was your time like with them? And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be uploading this one, and then there is 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 Castlevania Deluxe Edition unboxings coming your way. So if you do not want to miss any of those videos, please subscribe and hit the bell notification. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. Now, the first game we are jumping into is Final Fantasy VIII. Now, I picked this up today because I'm really wanting to play the Final Fantasy franchise, and I have not gotten a chance to play them yet. And what I did is I ended up trading a bunch of stuff in today to get the Castlevania box set that I was just telling you about, plus this one and this one. But we'll get to this one here in a little bit. But yeah, Final Fantasy VIII on the PS1, I only paid 20, well, actually, I didn't pay anything for this because I actually got more trade than I thought I would. So, once again, really looking forward to jumping into this franchise. It's a franchise that I've always wanted to play. I've heard a lot of good things about, and I just have not had a chance to play it. So, the fact that I'm finally going to be able to play this thing, it makes me really excited. I'm trying to get as much as I possibly can on the screen for you guys, but you guys know by now, my camera is shit, so yeah, and I can't get it to focus. Dang it. Well, sorry about that, you guys. Just as far in as I possibly can. There we go. That'll work. But yeah, there is 8, and this is like the double with, I think there's like 4 discs in this thing. Yeah, there's like 4 discs in this. Next up, we've got 9. I only paid, well, once again, didn't pay anything for this. Got it all in trade. It is also a chunky box. And it also comes with 4 discs. Now, before I go any further, you will realize that I got a lot of Final Fantasies. So what I'm going to end up doing for you guys to make it a little bit more tolerable to watch, I am going to just go over all the Final Fantasies that I purchased. So, next up we got Final Fantasy 13. Paid $10 for this one. Really excited for this franchise, guys. I don't know what else to say. I have heard nothing but good things about the series. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of games that people like shits on, but what game doesn't people shit on? And then we got Final Fantasy 1 through 6, the original games, but they are remastered for PS4. I was really concerned that I was not going to be able to find the first couple of games. And then we walked into my local game store, and my wife was like, "Hey, would this help?" She was like, "Would this help, and is this something you're looking for?" And I was like, the fact that you just saved me a lot of money and a lot of trouble, holy cow. So, 1 through 6 remastered. I don't think I kept the receipt in here. I did keep the receipt in here. Let me tell you guys how much I paid for this. I think it was about $45. I stand corrected. This was $55. So, if you're wanting to get into the Final Fantasy franchise and you kind of want something a little bit, how do I explain this? If you want to not spend a whole bunch of money, I would get this. Now, that's not to say that I've played this and I know how it is, because I don't know how it is. But if you're like me and you're struggling to get into Final Fantasy and you're like, you like Google it up and it's like over 100 titles and you're like, holy cow, there's only 16 in the main timeline, and technically there's only, I think, 15 or 14 games, because 11 and 14 are both online games. So technically there's only 14 games in the mainline series that you can play and have access to. Now, if you do have Steam or you have PC, you can play 11 and you can play 14 on like PS4, Xbox, and Steam. But once again, if you're wanting to start off and you don't want to spend a bunch of money finding like the OG PlayStation 1s, or I would stick with this to start off with, just like I did. And I'll give you guys an update whenever I finally do finish the Final Fantasy franchise. I'll come back and tell you guys a little, like, how did I find the games? How did I come to figure out which games to play and which games not to play? Because it is very overwhelming with the Final Fantasy games, and I know a lot of gamers out there are like, Rockin' Gamer, no, it's not. It's very simple. It's very easy. But there is quite a bit of Final Fantasy games that are mainline games that you can't have access to anymore. So it kind of makes it a little complicated, and there are certain things that you won't get to experience. But once again, I'll update you guys whenever I do finish the Final Fantasy franchise, just to help the psycho nerds out that are in the same boat that I am. So, Final Fantasy VII, this is the reimagined integrated version for PS5. Now, I have heard that Final Fantasy VII is one of the better ones out of the franchise. So, and what I'm thinking about doing too, after I like get a feel for the series, I'm also thinking about going back and getting the PS1 version for all of the like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Next up, we got 12, the Zodiac Age. So yes, to answer some of your questions, because I guarantee you somebody has a question, yes, I am only one game, and it's 16. I am only one mainline game away from having the whole franchise. And once again, that's Final Fantasy 16. So as soon as I can get a hold of Final Fantasy 16, I will have all the mainline games, and then I am only a couple away from having the side games. So, but luckily I'm finishing Gears of War, and then I'm going to be jumping into this one, Assassin's Creed, and, well, there's this one, Assassin's Creed, and what was the other one I was going to play? There was another one. Probably God of War, since that TV show's coming out soon. Well, I can't get it on the screen for you guys. I'm sorry about that, because it is not wanting to work today. Oh, there you go. So yeah. Did I say that? That one's 15. And then here is Final Fantasy X, but it's the HD remastered, so it comes with X and X2. And now, once again, if you're getting into the Final Fantasy franchise and you're just like me and you're so confused and you're like, what the fuck's going on? This is where this is what I would choose. Now, I have found a couple of copies of Final Fantasy X by itself on PS2. But just to save money and just to save space on your shelf, I would go with the HD Remastered, since it does come with X2 as well. Now, once again, I know a lot of Final Fantasy nerds out there are probably like, oh, Rockin' Gamer, you're telling people the wrong information. You're giving them the wrong information. I'm just saying, from my experience of collecting the Final Fantasy franchise, there's certain things that I would honestly consider more than others. So, like this next one, I screwed myself over. Sorry for the language on the channel, but I screwed myself over because I did the research and I was like, okay, nothing was popping up for Final Fantasy XI, and I've said that one like multiple times so far in the video, and I was doing my research and it kept saying, you know, Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy 11 online, and I was like, okay, well, can I still access the online? And I found out that you could access Final Fantasy 11 on Steam, but you cannot play the physical game version on PS2 and Xbox 360. They're just on the shelf. They just exist. And so before I knew that, before I fully comprehended that, I accidentally paid, and this was sealed, and honestly I should have just kept it sealed. Final Fantasy XI Chains of Prometheia. I hope I do not ruin that. I'm sorry if I do. Expansion pack. As you can tell, it says expansion pack. It says it on there, actually in all caps, that this is an expansion pack. And my dumbass decided to just go ahead and buy it. And then when I got to the car and opened it and I looked at it, I was like, shit. So once again, do not make the same mistake that I did. Don't worry about 11. If you want to play 11 and you've got Steam, it is $30 and you can have access to all of the DLCs. So if you want to play 11, stick with Steam. Don't buy any physical for Final Fantasy XI. And then the next one is a spin-off to 7. It's a Dirge of Cerberus, sorry. For Final Fantasy VII. So I was lucky enough to grab this one. This one was also sealed, but the case is really banged up. So I will have to find me another case to put this one in, but there you go. But yeah, that's all of my Final Fantasies so far, because once again, I have to get all of the spin-offs. So, there you go. Alright, and then next up, a lot of people are going to really like this one, because this franchise is like, we've had, what, 8? Technically 9? 9 games in this series, and I have played every single one of them except for 1, 2. Well, technically I didn't play, was it New Blood? No, New Dawn. I didn't play New Dawn. I played a little bit of Primal at my friend's house, and then I haven't played 1 and 2, and I haven't played Blood Dragon. But all of that changes today, because I found the compilation that comes with 2, 3, and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and I already own 3. I just needed 2 and Blood Dragon, but from the research that I did, the only way to get Blood Dragon is in this compilation or buying it off of the PS Store. So, me being a physical collector that I am, I really wanted the physical copy of it, so I just went ahead and paid $15 for technically 3 games. And honestly, I'm really excited for Blood Dragon. Far Cry 3, phenomenal game. If you have not played it yet, please check out Far Cry 3. I would start with that one, and if you want to go any further, I would probably do 5 next, because as bad as it sounds, they don't tie in together. At least I don't think they do until 6. So, and the only reason they did that is because of like the DLC and stuff. But if you want to play this series, I would start with 3 first, and then I would play 5, come back to 4, and then do 6. Because I really enjoyed 5 and 3. 4 kind of couldn't hook me, but then 6 kind of, as bad as it sounds, I have been on and off of that game since 2020. I'll jump on it, I'll play a little bit of it, and then I'll just get bored and then jump off of it, and then like I take a long span that I don't play it, and then I jump back on and play some more, and 6 is very complicated, not gameplay-wise, it's such a, it just feels different, and I don't know how to explain it. So Far Cry 6, I would say wait until the very end of all of, and the New Dawn is like after 6, because I've never played New Dawn, and I kind of don't want to. This next one is one that was so difficult to find. My wife was going to get it for me for Christmas, and she couldn't find a cheap copy of it. And whenever we went into one of my other local game stores, they ended up having it on the shelf for only $10, and that is Prototype 1. Now, I do own Prototype 2. She got it for me for Christmas, but the fact that I have one now makes that set complete, and I'm really excited to jump into these games. I've heard they're kind of like Infamous, and I've played all the Infamous games except for the what was the two like newer generation ones for the PS4. It was like Second Son and the other one. I haven't played those, but since I really loved Infamous, I think I'm really gonna enjoy Prototype. So really excited to check that one out. Next up, God of War Ascension. So I already own the... Let me go and grab it off my shelf. Hold on here. Alrighty, you guys, and we are back. So I bought this at GameStop a couple of months ago, actually. And I didn't think $33 was too bad for the Saga. Now, this game, it says it includes 5 full games, but technically, if you buy this, you're only getting the first 3 games. And the other 2 are just DLC, if it will focus. This is actually the one time that I want it to focus, because I want you guys to read the back of this. Come on now. I'll just get real close. There you go. So, it comes with God of War 2, God of War 3, and God of War Origins Collection, which includes God of War Chains of Olympus, Ghosts of Sparta. So, it only comes with 5 games. So, technically, I didn't need Ascension. But I bought this at GameStop for $33, and the code actually worked on it. So, I ended up getting all 5 full games for $33. Because originally, you know how GameStop works. They're like, well, we don't know if the codes work. You can give it a shot, but if not, you know, there's nothing we can do. So whenever I put in the codes, they all worked. Everything was fine. But I was like, I kind of want physical copies for all the games. Since I had this one, and this one comes with a physical copy of 1, 2, and 3, I kind of wanted to have all the games. So therefore, I just went ahead and picked up Ascension. So now, all I need to do is pick up a physical copy of Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. And they do have a those 2 specific games on 1 disc. So, I think it's 1 disc, or it's maybe like 2 discs, but whenever I get it, I'll put it in one of my hauls. But really excited to play this series, and especially with the TV series coming out very soon. I am stoked. So, and I've always liked God of War. I played I can't remember what year it came out, but I played that one, and then I played the Ragnarok. And whenever I first got my PS5, because I got the Ragnarok edition for my PS5, so I was able to play it, and I really love Ragnarok. I think it's a really good game. Next up, Castlevania is another series that I'm jumping into right beside Final Fantasy. That was the one. Castlevania, Final Fantasy, and Assassin's Creed. I am juggling all 3 of those at once. So, Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. And I will tell you, this is another series or another franchise that I actually struggled to figure out which ones I needed and which ones I didn't. So, I know I kind of don't want to do this on stream, but what I did is I ended up getting a notebook, and I ended up writing down all the games and the tie-ins. So, and then whenever I get them, I just mark them off. So, in doing that, I learned that the Castlevania games, you can get the collections and knock out a big chunk of the franchise, and then go back and pick off, like, the ones that don't have collections, and this is one that is not included in any collections yet. So the only way to get this one so far is like the PS3. I think there is another, I think 360 has this one, but PS3, I'm a PlayStation guy, so I had to have the PlayStation version. Next up is another series that I started when I was in elementary school, played a little bit in middle school, couldn't get into it, so I was like, whatever, I'm never touching that franchise ever. And I don't know, I feel like it's only right if I'm going to be a gamer to check out Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. Now, once again, I have played Drake's Fortune, which is the first game. And I played a little bit of 3, and I couldn't get into them. I don't know if it was the controls, I don't know if it was the graphics, I don't know. I just couldn't get into them. And so, finally, I made a list, and I was like, PlayStation exclusive games, Xbox exclusive games, and I was like, Uncharted is a very well-known franchise in the gaming community. I need to play it, just to say that I have. So, I'm going to be grinding this one. And then what I'm going to do is, since I bought this one, I'm going to turn around and buy the double pack that comes with Uncharted 4 and then the other Uncharted game, the final one. So, next up is another series that I already own 3 and 4, but I'm wanting to go backwards because there's only 4 games in this franchise, and that's Just Cause 2. I mean, I think there might be like a couple of like DS games or something, but I think there's only 4 games in the main line. So went ahead and picked this one up to go right beside my Just Cause 3 and 4. Now I did play Just Cause 3 and I thought it was awesome. I really like the demolition mechanics. I like the breaking the buildings and demolishing cars and putting rockets on cows and shooting them into outer space. I mean, Just Cause 3 is a really fun sandbox game, and I highly recommend checking out. And I know I said sandbox, it's open world, but Just Cause 3 is such a really good and fun game that you'll want to play it more and more and more. And unlike GTA 5, you can actually derail the train. So, I'm just saying. But Just Cause 2, I'm really excited to play this one after playing 3 and a little bit of 4. I never finished 4, but really excited to jump into this one. I'm hoping that they keep the demolition mechanics. I call it demolition mechanics because you're breaking everything, you're destroying everything. Alright, now this one goes right beside of Uncharted. It is another PlayStation series that is also on Xbox, but PlayStation. And what I originally wanted to do was I originally wanted to get the 1 through 3 remastered deluxe edition for PS5, which I did, and I did an unboxing for it. But I wanted 4 through 6 remastered for PS5 Deluxe Edition, and I could not find it. I went to all of my game stores, I went to the flea market, I went on eBay, Amazon, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, I went down the list. The Deluxe Edition for this game is so hard to find, and if you know somebody that's got it, please shoot me a comment so I can work a deal with you. But, really excited to play these games. I've never played a Tomb Raider game ever in my life. I have not even played the newer games, and I am really excited to jump into them. And it's versions like this that kind of make me grateful that I wait. Because if I would have played it back in the day, I would have had to get each individual game. And see, I like nostalgia. I like playing games on PlayStation 1. I like PlayStation 2 games. I like playing on the older consoles. But it's, like I said, it's versions like this. And they need to do this more often. Twisted Metal, I will stress it until I collapse of lung capacity. Twisted Metal needs this treatment. Give me a Twisted Metal. There's only like 5-6 games. Give them the rights to Twisted Metal and let them do this, but with Twisted Metal. I love these things. Remaster it. Have it where you can go from like the old graphics to the new graphics. Do this. Because this is awesome. It's an awesome concept to remaster something and let the newer generation have a chance to play it in their way. Like, yeah, we got to play our, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games. Let the newer generation get to experience what we experienced on their generation console. So, enough of that rant. Tomb Raider 4 through 6 remastered PS5 edition. And then last but not least on today's list is another Far Cry game, Far Cry Instincts Predator. Don't know much about this one. It was just part of the Far Cry franchise. I could not find it on PS3, and I actually think this was a Xbox exclusive, I want to say. I don't think it was exclusive to 360. I think the original Xbox got a hold of it. But yeah, this is the only way that I could find it. I went to multiple game stores, and this was the only one that I found, so I was like, whatever. I guess I'll branch off to Xbox whenever I get to this one. And I mean, this one's early on in the series anyhow. So what'll happen is I'll just play this one on Xbox, and then I'll just jump over and play the rest on the PlayStation. So, nothing too bad. Let's see here. Bonus game includes Enhanced Far Cry Instincts, the Shooter of the Year. Wait. Does this actually come with Instincts? 2 games in 1. Also includes Enhanced Far Cry Instincts. So I do own both of those now. So this comes with Instincts and it comes with Predator. Awesome, dude. So I guess that means that I only have one more Far Cry game to get, and that's the very first one. Let me do a let me check here real quick. Oh, well, I need Evolution, and then I need Vengeance, because Far Cry 1 does not have a physical. It was released on the PC, so, which, hey, who knows? Maybe they'll start remastering the Far Cry franchise, and we'll get Far Cry 1 for PlayStation 6. Who knows? Well, but that's all the games for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you think about these games. Have you played them? What was your opinion? What was your experience with them? Smash the like button if you did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss a single video. Like I said, I have multiple 3 Castlevania Deluxe Edition unboxings coming your way. So please, if you don't want to miss those, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. Without further ado, as always, take care and rock on.